Discover the heartwarming moment when little twins sang an incredible song for their dying mother. In the quaint town of Maplewood, where every sunrise brought the promise of laughter and sweet adventure, 7-year-old twins Lucy and Max shimmered with the purest joy. They were a vibrant duo, always buzzing with excitement, their laughter ringing like music down the streets. But beneath that sparkling surface lay a shadow. Their beloved mother, Sarah, a beacon of strength, was fading. Diagnosed with a terminal illness, the very foundation of their world trembled with every doctor's visit. Lucy and Max watched as their mother fought through her pain, her smile still flickering bright like the sun. Sarah had always been their hero. She worked 3 jobs, bringing home a full bag of groceries and a heart full of stories, instilling hope with every word. Yet, the horizon loomed darker. The twins felt it, a potent mixture of confusion and despair, like a storm swelling inside them, threatening to overflow. Then, a spark ignited among their heartache. Inspired by the lullabies their mother once sang with laughter in her voice, Lucy and Max decided to honor her. "Let's sing at the Harvest Festival," Lucy exclaimed one afternoon, her eyes sparkling with determination. Max nodded, his heart racing with excitement. It felt like a good idea, a way to show their mother just how deeply she was loved. Days turned into a blur of melody. In their backyard, under the big oak tree that always provided shade, they practiced tirelessly. But as they rehearsed, doubt crept in. Stumbling over notes, their eyes pooled with tears, and doubt nestled deep in their chests. "What if we mess up?" Max whispered, his voice quaking. Lucy wiped her eyes. "We can't let her down. We have to try." And just when it seemed like despair would swallow them whole, Mr. Thompson, an elderly neighbor and war veteran, appeared. With a gentle smile and knowing eyes, he encouraged them. "Bravery is about showing your heart, kids. Your mother will feel your love no matter what." Feeling validated, joy returned, yet a deep dread hovered over them as festival day approached. The air buzzed with excitement as Maplewood transformed, townsfolk's laughter mingling with the smell of pie cooling in windows. Still, backstage, nerves gripped Lucy and Max like icy tendrils. Their mother was out there, surrounded by community, bestowing smiles and warmth. Could they really sing for her? Would she hear their love? And then, the moment arrived. The twins stood trembling behind the curtain, hearts racing like wild horses. They could hear the crowd humming in anticipation, and the sound of their mother's laughter danced through the air, urging them forward. Summoning Mr. Thompson's words, they took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage, the warmth of the spotlight wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. They gripped the microphone tight as they began to sing, pouring every ounce of their love into the notes. As their voices harmonized, sweet and innocent, a hush fell over the audience. They sang for their mother. They sang for everyone who had ever felt love and loss. The building spirit wafted through the crowd, hearts connecting like an unbreakable thread. But then, just as they reached a heart-stopping crescendo, tragedy struck. An unexpected event caught the crowd off guard, leaving Lucy and Max frozen, uncertainty washing over them like a chilling wave. Would their mother feel the love woven into their song? Could this melody ease their pain and create a bridge across their fractured hearts? As the last notes floated into silence, an anxious atmosphere settled, pregnant with anticipation and hope. What comes next? The crowd's reaction was instant. A gasp echoed through the air, knitting a blanket of apprehension across the gathered faces. Lucy and Max exchanged worried glances. Panic bubbled inside them like a boiling pot. All they wanted was to share their love through their music. But what was happening? Their mother, Sarah, had been standing among the crowd, her eyes sparkling with pride, but then the unexpected occurred. A tiny child, caught in the excitement of the moment, tripped and fell right in front of the twins, sending a ripple of concern through the audience. The music seemed to dissolve into the air, replaced by the wailing of the shocked child. Max and Lucy felt their hearts plummet and the weight of silence pressed down heavily on their small shoulders. For a moment, everything stood still. The warmth of the spotlight dimmed under the cold reality of that child's sudden cry. But then, like a flickering candle in a storm, Lucy remembered the very reason they were up on that stage. The love they had for their mother and their hope for her happiness. Gamely, she stepped a few inches forward and lifted her chin high, her voice trembling but determined. "It's okay," she called out, her voice barely breaking through the hum of fear and chaos that enveloped the audience. "We're here for Mom." Max, feeling Lucy's brave spirit, nodded and instinctively took her hand. They turned to the crowd, letting empathy and love flow from their little bodies. The wails of the child began to fade as curious eyes turned back to the twins. Some faces relaxed, concern giving way to intrigue, waiting to see how this would unfold. Together, they shifted back into the melody, their harmony wrapping around the uncertainty like a soothing balm. As the first notes dripped from their lips, they poured all their emotions into that moment: fear, hope, and a heartfelt desire to make their mother smile again. The crowd responded. Slowly at first, then picking up momentum, people began to hum along, creating a wave of unity that washed over the splintered moment. Sarah, her heart racing, moved closer, shifting through the crowd. She could see her twins, small but mighty. She beamed at them, gently shushing the lingering sobs of the little one who had fallen, her warmth breaking through the tension in the air. The spark of her children's love ignited something powerful. As the twins sang on, Sarah's eyes glistened with unshed tears, but they were tears of joy. Their voices reverberated with strength, as they sang like angels fighting the darkness. The melody soared higher, filling the enchanted atmosphere with shimmering notes. They were no longer just children singing to their mother, they became vessels of hope, carrying the weight of everyone's feelings around them. But even as Sarah felt a wave of pride and love wash over her, she couldn't help but think how fragile life was. The song wrapped around her, and she wished for a moment that this connection would last forever without the fear of what was to come. As they reached the final line, Lucy and Max gave one last push, their spirits igniting fervently. And then silence. It lingered, heavy yet sweet, echoing in the hearts of everyone in Maplewood. The crowd held its breath, waiting for the next sound. What would Lucy and Max say next? Would they realize the power of their song? Sarah stepped forward, her heart pounding, ready to embrace her beloved twins and let them know just how proud she was. But the moment was about to shift again, with a revelation that could change everything for them all. What would Sarah do next? Sarah's heart raced as she stepped closer to the stage, her body trembling with a mix of pride and worry. She could feel the tears prickling her eyes, a mix of joy and sorrow flooding through her. The echoes of her children's voices still lingered in the air, and for a brief moment, she allowed herself to bask in the warmth of their love. But then, as the silence settled like a heavy blanket, unease crept in. She looked around at the crowd, which had transformed from an anxious mob into a loving sea of faces, each person connected by the raw emotion that had poured from Lucy and Max. But then it hit her, the worry she had been trying to shove deep down. Just yesterday, Sarah had been in the doctor's office, receiving news that had felt like a thunderclap: her health was in jeopardy. The weight of that reality pressed down harder than ever in that moment. Before she could catch her breath, she took a step forward, her hands trembling slightly. "Lucy, Max," she called softly, her voice wavering. They turned to her, expressions shifting from the high of their performance to confusion, worry painted on their innocent faces. "What's wrong, Mom?" Lucy asked, her brows furrowing. A lump formed in Sarah's throat as she wrestled with the truth. The urge to protect them from her pain battled with the need to be honest with them. But seeing their little faces, filled with concern, she felt her heart break a little more. I have to talk to you both about something important." Max's grip on Lucy's hand tightened, fear flickering in his eyes. "Are you okay?" The crowd, noticing the shift, murmured among themselves. They held their breath, anticipation heavy in the air. They could sense that something meaningful was about to unfold, a conversation that would lay bare emotions not often spoken aloud. Taking another deep breath, Sarah knelt down to bring herself closer to their level. "You two are the most incredible gifts in my life. You have a power, a light that shines so bright. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she spoke, but she pressed on. But sometimes, things in life can change. And we must all be strong, no matter what comes. Lucy's eyes filled with tears as she struggled to process the weight of her mother's words. What do you mean, Mom? What could change? The rest of the crowd had fallen silent, spellbound as Sarah spoke, her heart ripped open. The doctors are worried about me, and I don't want you to be scared. No matter what happens, remember that you are never alone. Max blinked rapidly, trying to hold back his tears. But we love you. You're our mom. You're supposed to be here forever. His small voice shook, reflecting the catharsis washing over the crowd around them. I know, sweetheart, she whispered fervently, reaching out to cup his face. And I will be with you. Always. You have each other, and you have something magical. You just showed it through your music. As her words hung in the air, there was an aching silence. Sarah could see her children's minds racing, struggling to comprehend the seriousness of the moment while trying to hold on to the joy of the song they had just shared, but in that silence, something else emerged. A flicker of understanding washed over Lucy, and then Max. They straightened up, their little heads held high, and Sarah's heart swelled with pride. They had faced down that fear together. Then let us sing again, Mom. Lucy shouted, her voice bold and bright. Let us show everyone your magic. Max chimed in, yeah. We can do it together. We can be strong. The crowd erupted in applause, the tension visible on every face transforming into smiles of encouragement. Sarah nodded, wiping her tears as her heart swelled with hope. Okay, but this time, let us sing about love. Let us fill the world with it. As they began to sing once more, Sarah felt the connection deepen. She longed to hold on to it, not just for herself, but for Lucy and Max. Just as the music began to weave its spell once again, a strange sound rippled through the air, an unmistakable vibration, like a distant heartbeat growing louder. What was it? Harbingers of change or a promise of magic still to come? As the notes floated around them, the question lingered, would this song be enough to keep their family whole? Sarah felt the music envelop her like a soothing blanket, wrapping around her body and easing the tightness in her chest. The connection between her, Lucy, and Max ignited a spark of joy amidst the storm brewing within her. Each note sank deeper into her soul, a lifeline to hold on to. She looked into their shining eyes, filled with determination, and knew this was a moment she would carry with her forever. The crowd moved with them now, swaying gently as if synchronized with the very heartbeat of the song. Sarah felt the power of their collective energy, the love flowing like a river, washing away her fears. Tiny hands grasped hers tightly, and she could feel Lucy and Max drawing strength from her, just as she drew from them. They were a triad, unbreakable in this moment, but as their song soared, the distant vibration grew louder. It beckoned to her from a place she couldn't quite identify, sending chills up her spine. They continued singing, but Sarah's heart raced not just from the performance, it was the strange resonance that was beating like a drum. As they hit the final note, a hush fell over the crowd. The echo lingered like a ghost in the twilight. Suddenly, a single clap broke the silence, followed by another, then the entire audience erupted into a standing ovation. Cheers and applause flooded the air, overwhelming Sarah with pride. Yet, amidst the chaos of celebration, she couldn't shake the feeling that something significant was about to happen. She scanned the crowd, searching for answers, and her gaze caught a woman standing at the back, her eyes locked onto Sarah with an intensity that felt electric. An older gentleman beside the woman leaned in closer, whispering something in her ear. The woman nodded, her expression shifting from curiosity to urgency. Sarah felt an unsettling chill creep down her spine. What did the woman know? Max tugged at her sleeve. Did you see her, Mom? She's smiling at us. Yes, sweetheart, Sarah replied, forcing a smile. She seems nice. But her heart fluttered with uncertainty. As the audience continued to celebrate, she felt a pull towards the woman, something familiar yet unexplainable beckoned her forward. "Stay right here, okay," she told Lucy and Max, crouching down to their level. With their nods of understanding, Sarah made her way through the throng of elated faces. Each step felt heavier with uncertainty, the air thickening with each passing moment. When she reached the woman, her heart raced. "Excuse me, can I help you? You seem like you want to say something." The woman smiled, but her eyes glimmered with urgency. "I couldn't help but feel the power of your family's love, and I think I could help you if you'd let me." "What do you mean?" Sarah asked, her voice barely a whisper, the questions bubbling inside her. "I know something about healing," the woman said, drawing closer. "It sounds crazy, I know, but there's a way." Before she could finish, a shrill cry echoed through the air, silencing the moment. Lucy and Max, frantically waving from the stage, looked small and frightened. "Mom, come back!" Lucy shouted, her voice trembling with fear. Sarah's instincts kicked in. "I'm coming," she called back, turning to the woman one last time. "I'll be right here." As she sprinted back to her children, the weight of the potential of the woman's words clung to her. The lights around them dimmed and flickered as if echoing her turmoil. What did the woman mean? How could she help? With her heart pounding in her chest, Sarah felt the familiar mix of hope and worry flood over her. The connection between them felt fragile, yet it shimmered with possibilities. As she reached Lucy and Max, she hugged them tightly, feeling the strength of their bond like a lifeline. But the question remained: what was brewing in the silence just beyond the applause? What would it take to find healing amidst uncertainty? The crowd's cheers faded to a murmur as a distant sound undulated again in the background, a haunting melody, laced with secrets yet to be revealed. How would Sarah navigate the storm ahead? The applause faded into the background, but Sarah's heart was still thumping, heavy with the weight of Lucy and Max's fear. She knelt down, cupping their faces in her hands. "What's wrong?" she asked, scanning their expressions for clues. Max's eyes were wide and glistening with unshed tears. "I thought you disappeared. I couldn't see you anymore." Lucy's tiny hands pressed against her mother's arms, her voice shaky. "We didn't know where you went, Mom. You can't leave us." "I wasn't leaving," Sarah assured them, her voice steady. "I was just talking to someone." The memory of the woman danced on the edge of her mind, but she pushed it down for the moment. Right now, her children needed her focus. The crowd moved around them, enchanted by the show and oblivious to the emotional storm Sarah faced. She hugged Lucy and Max closer, feeling the warmth radiate between their small bodies. Together, they formed a solid circle of love and protection. "Let's get back on stage, all right?" Sarah suggested, softly guiding them back into the spotlight. The cheers resurfaced around them, wrapping them in a new layer of encouragement. As they stood together, hand in hand, Sarah felt the music swell within her, alive and bursting with potential. With every note that followed, she intently watched Lucy and Max, their features transforming with each rhythm, pure joy lighting up their faces. But an echo, that strange vibration from earlier, tugged at her conscience again. It felt like a thread woven into the very fabric of the melody. It was there, just under the surface, calling to her. After the last song finished, the clamor of applause returned, and Sarah gathered her children close. Amidst the cheers, she noticed the woman from before hovering at the edge of the stage, her gaze piercing, as if she had been waiting for the right moment to re-enter their lives. Max waved with childish delight. "Hi. Did you like our song?" The woman smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Your performance was beautiful," she replied, her voice warm but laced with urgency. "There's something important I need to share with you, Sarah. Can we talk?" Sarah glanced down at her children, feeling torn. Lucy's grip on her tightened, while Max looked expectantly at the woman. "Just a minute," Sarah replied, having to reassure both herself and her kids. I'll be right back. With one final check on her children's comfort, she stepped toward the woman. The ambience felt different now, charged with a strange tension that made her heart race. She could sense the woman meant business. "What do you know about healing?" Sarah asked, keeping her voice steady. The woman's expression softened as she took a breath. "It's about connecting deeper than you have before. The song you shared tonight, it has the power to heal more than just the soul of a family." Confusion and curiosity clashed under Sarah's skin. "What do you mean?" The woman leaned in, her voice a soft whisper. "Have you ever thought about what lies beneath the surface of love? There are hidden depths even we don't understand." Sarah's insides twisted at the woman's words. Was she suggesting that their love could be used for something greater? Before they could dive deeper into the conversation, a sudden noise cut through. A commotion in the back caught Sarah's attention, and her heart plummeted. "What's happening?" she exclaimed, glancing back at Lucy and Max, who both looked lost and uncertain. "Mom!" Lucy called out again, panic creeping into her voice. The world around them faded. The echo of unresolved feeling swelled to an unbearable crescendo. Sarah's heart pounded with a mixture of fear and exhilaration as she faced the woman again. "What do I need to know?" As the woman opened her mouth to respond, another sound cut through the haunting melody, swelling louder, holding secrets that could change everything. What would Sarah uncover if she dared to listen? A hush fell over the crowd, replaced by that unsettling melody that seemed to call out from the depths of Sarah's spirit. Each note wrapped itself around her heart, an invitation layered with dread. She turned her gaze back to the woman, searching for answers that felt just out of reach. "What is this music?" Sarah asked, fervently wishing for clarity. "It's the resonance of love," the woman replied, her eyes glinting with something akin to hope. "And it's meant to lead you if you're willing to follow." "Led me where?" Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. The questions weighed heavy, mingling with the warmth of her children against her. The tension around them only thickened. "To a truth that could save her," the woman responded, tone low but firm. "Love has the power to heal, but it requires bravery. Are you prepared to embrace it?" Before Sarah could answer, a loud crash echoed from the back of the venue, a cacophony that shattered the fragile moment. Gasps erupted, and Sarah turned instinctively toward her children. Lucy stumbled and fell back slightly, glancing wide-eyed at Max, who stood frozen as fear flickered in his features. "Mom," Max whispered, reaching out. "Stay close." Sarah's voice pierced the noise as she pulled them both in tightly. The crowd was on the move, trying to inch back from the source of the ruckus, but Sarah felt her heart racing for an entirely different reason. What if the melody was more than just a song? Did it have the power to unveil more than just hidden depths of love? The strange woman now moved past her, purpose in her stride. "You need to understand that love is not just an emotion, it's energy. Sometimes, it needs to be released." "Released?" Sarah echoed, her thoughts racing. "What do you mean?" "Pain, hope, and joy must all be given space to flow. The melody you're hearing isn't just for entertainment, it's calling for action, for you to connect to something beyond yourself." As the chaos around them intensified, Sarah felt her body tighten. "I can't leave my kids in this mess. Not now." At that moment, Max insisted, "Mom. We want to help. We can sing more." His voice was filled with a determination that caught Sarah off guard. Lucy tugged at Sarah's shirt and insisted, "Please, let us sing again. Maybe we can make it better." A wave of warmth flooded Sarah's chest. In that moment, her children embodied the bravery she longed for. "All right, let us do it," she said, determination solidifying in her voice. "We'll sing together." The woman's smile widened, even as the sounds of panic faded into the background of Sarah's mind. She took her children's hands, forming a small circle around her. They stood together, feeling the energy building within them. With every note they began to sing, Sarah noticed something shift. The crowd, once frantic, began to focus. The melody rose in harmony, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Each smile, laughter, or tear of gratitude from the crowd fed into the song, turning fear into a collective strength, but as they sang, Sarah felt that haunting pull again, deeper this time. She could sense something unfolding before her. "Mom, what happens now?" Lucy asked, eyes bright with eager hope. "I don't know, sweetheart, but whatever it is, I think we're just beginning to discover it," she replied, the melody enveloping them with a thrilling promise. Would they piece together the puzzle of healing through their song? And could the love they shared truly reach someone in need? As their voices soared, a new tension hung in the air. What would the true power of their song reveal? Would it be enough to change everything they thought they knew? The music swelled around them, a rich tapestry of sound that vibrated with emotions Sarah hadn't fully understood until now. As they sang, "I Love You" wafted through the air, the words almost shimmering with a warmth that spread through the crowd. With each note, it was as if the pulse of the universe responded, drawing people closer together, bonding them in this unique moment of vulnerability. "Keep going," someone shouted from the back, the voice firm yet encouraging. It prompted a ripple of support, fueling their melody with added strength. Sarah glanced at her children, their faces glowing with determination, and felt a fierce pride surge within her. "Clasp your hands tighter," she whispered. "We're doing this together." Small fingers intertwined, Lucy's gentle squeeze anchored Sarah, but it was Max whose unwavering enthusiasm propelled them forward. "I want to sing louder, Mom," he exclaimed, and in that moment, his joy ignited something deep inside her, a sense of hope she didn't know she had lost. The crowd echoed their fervor, voices merging with their own as they formed a chorus that rose to reach the rafters. Laughter, shouts of encouragement, and even some tears added texture to their song. Sarah could feel the tension inching away, replaced by something magical, something that wrapped around them like a warm blanket on a cold winter night. But beneath that joy, Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She could sense the pressure building, a weight of expectation both exhilarating and terrifying. What if this moment didn't lead to change? Could this song truly reach the depths of someone's heart? Suddenly, a crackle of energy pulsed through the air, like static suspense before a storm. What had started as a collective display of love now felt like a thunderous awakening. Max and Lucy exchanged wide eyes, sensing the gravity shift, feeling the air thrum with intensity. "Mom!" Lucy's voice rang through the melody, her tone both excited and anxious. "What is happening?" "I think we're touching something powerful," Sarah replied, her own heartbeat quickening. It felt as if the universe had paused to listen, to absorb their energy. As they sang the last notes, the crowd erupted into applause, calling for more. But over the applause, Sarah could hear the melody's haunting whisper still resonating within her. The woman from earlier had told her love was energy that needed to flow. Was this the beginning of that flow? Then, unexpectedly, the crowd began to shift again, parting like waves. There, at the front, stood a girl, pale, fragile, yet lit from within, as if she had been waiting for this moment. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Was this young girl the one they were meant to reach, the one who needed their song? "Stay with us," Max urged, taking a step forward, fear transformed into courage. "Is she okay?" Lucy asked softly, her childlike innocence clashing with the gravity of the moment. Sarah could only shake her head, overwhelmed by a whirlpool of emotions. The song had led them to this moment, unraveling layers of hope and fear, and now uncertainty replaced the earlier joy. "Let us sing for her too," Sarah finally said, determination flaring once again. "Let us show her that she's not alone." With a deep breath, they squared their shoulders and began anew. What if this ended up changing the life of a stranger? What if the energy they unleashed could heal not just wounds of the heart, but the spirit itself? As they sang again, the girl stepped closer, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Would this be enough? Could the love they felt conquer the darkness threatening to overshadow everything? Would their song be the beacon of hope they all so desperately sought? The moment stretched between breaths, each note swelling like a heartbeat, pulsing with unspoken connection. The crowd held its collective breath, as if every soul present shared the weight of this fragile girl stepping forward. Her eyes, pools of emotion, locked onto Sarah's, and in that instant, Sarah felt a fierce urge to shield this girl from whatever darkness she had faced. Across the sea of faces, Sarah could see the expressions changing from curiosity to compassion, whispers of support weaving through the crowd like threads of a tapestry. Each note they sang became a thread, encasing the girl with a barrier of warmth, love, and understanding. Lucy, always perceptive, shifted closer to the girl, breaking the invisible barrier between them. "Are you sad?" she asked, her voice a gentle breeze. No one else dared to speak, but his little girl voiced what everyone felt. The girl hesitated, eyes glimmering, then nodded. I don't know if I'll be okay," she whispered, her voice barely rising above the melody. In that fragile moment, their music seemed to cocoon them, wrapping them all in empathy. "Then let us sing for you," Max declared, his little body brimming with a determination Sarah had come to admire. "We'll help you be okay." His earnestness radiated through the air, igniting something in the crowd, an acknowledgement that, together, they could support this girl who seemed so lost. With renewed power, Sarah focused on the lyrics, pouring everything she felt into their song. The melody transformed, shifting into a hopeful anthem that held promises of healing and light. The harmonious voices, each unique, intertwined into a single message: "You are not alone." The girl stepped closer, the doubt in her eyes slowly giving way to a flicker of hope. As if the universe aligned, she began to sway slightly, carried by the rhythm and warmth pulsating from the family and community around her. The crowd reacted, clapping softly in time with the music, beckoning the girl to join in. Slowly, she opened her mouth, hesitant notes escaping her lips. It wasn't perfect, but it didn't matter. What mattered was the moment, the shared laughter, the mingling tears, and the blossoming joy of connection. It was a raw, unfiltered expression of humanity, and it echoed in the hearts of everyone present. Max glanced at Sarah, eyes wide with excitement. "Do you think she can feel it, Mom? The love?" "I think she is starting to," Sarah smiled back, feeling tears prick at her own eyes. The room glowed with shared emotion, each person absorbing the spirit of the moment. As the song culminated, Sarah sensed a shift. The fragile girl stood taller, her spirit ignited by the collective love surrounding her. "I can do this," the girl said, her voice clearer, the uncertainty giving way to a gentler confidence. Just then, an unexpected sound pierced the atmosphere, a soft gasp, mingled with a shout of joy from deep within the crowd. Sarah whipped her head around, her heart racing. A woman frantic yet hopeful was pushing through the throng, her face marked by an overwhelming blend of anguish and relief. "Is she here?" the woman cried out, desperation spilling from her voice like sunlight breaking through dark clouds. Sarah's breath hitched in her throat. Who was this woman? What connection did she have to the girl in front of them? Was this the missing piece that could bring everything together? As the crowd parted, more magic hung in the air. Could this be the beginning of something beautiful? Something that would heal deeper scars than any song could reach? The answer was close, and Sarah could feel it, like a whispered promise waiting to unfold. The air thickened with anticipation as the crowd turned their attention to the woman surging forward, desperation etched across her features. There was something familiar about her, something that jolted Sarah's memory. Had she seen the woman before? Just before the girl had stepped onto the stage? The connection between all of them drew tighter, like a noose hanging heavy in the air, waiting to be released. The song faded, replaced by a tense silence. Whispers filled the space, a mix of wonder and concern. The girl looked from the stage to the woman, her expression a puzzle. Confusion tugged at her brow. "Mom?" She finally breathed, the word a tentative gasp. "Is it really you?" The woman staggered closer, her voice trembling, eyes glistening with tears. I've been looking everywhere." The urgency in her tone ignited a flicker of understanding in the girl's eyes. Slowly, the girl stepped off the stage, drawn toward the woman like a magnet. Their eyes locked, radiating a tether that had been silently woven over time. The crowd hovered, a collective breath caught in their throats, witnessing an unexpected reunion that felt almost sacred. "I thought I lost you," the woman cried, her hands open, reaching across the gap that had separated them for what felt like eternity. "You're safe now." Sarah blinked back tears as she watched this emotional exchange unfold. She felt like a portal to all things hurt and whole. It was a reminder of how fragile love could be and how fiercely it fought to connect in the darkest of times. The music had built a bridge, a pathway for these two souls to find their way back to each other. As they embraced, sobs broke free, raw and unrestrained. The girl melted into her mother's arms, her body shaking with relief. In that moment, the music that had wrapped around them like a hug, became mere background noise. It was love that filled the room now, a healing balm pressing down on the wounds of the past. Sarah felt Lucy's small hand slip into hers, grounding her. "What's happening?" Lucy whispered, eyes wide. "It's a reunion, honey," Sarah answered, her voice a soft whisper, "a beautiful, difficult reunion." Dispersed around the stage, members of the community echoed their support in this new silence. The previously hesitant girl had transformed into a beacon of vulnerability and triumph. She was no longer a fragile spirit but a daughter reclaiming her place within her mother's embrace. Then, just as the tension within Sarah's heart began to ease, her gaze darted once more to the woman. The joy in her eyes was quickly overshadowed by an unsettling truth that seemed to flicker just beneath the surface. The woman's hands trembled as she held her daughter tightly, yet there was an underlying fear that whispered of other battles still to come. "Can I keep her?" the woman suddenly asked, her voice quivering at the edges. "Can I keep her safe, this time?" It was a plea that pulled at every heart in the room. A question grounded in love but shrouded in uncertainty. As the girl shifted slightly, still cradled in her mother's embrace, Sarah felt the weight of their story drawing closer to a climax. Questions swirled within her, demanding answers that would stretch beyond this singular moment. Could this mother find the strength to protect her daughter against the shadows that lurked in their past? And what would it take to heal the fractures that had already formed along the way? With all eyes glued to the two, once lost and now found, the crowd waited, breath held, for the next chapter of their intertwined stories to unfold. In the heart of Maplewood, the air shimmered with a sense of healing and renewal. The crowd still buzzed with energy, wrapped up in the emotional reunion that had unfolded. Sarah watched as the woman and her daughter embraced tightly, whispers of hope floating between them like petals in the wind. The melody that had once woven their stories together resonated in Sarah's heart, filling the cracks with light and understanding. As the reunion continued, tears streamed down many faces. They were tears of release, the kind that come with the realization that love can mend what once felt irrevocably broken. Sarah felt the gentle grip of Lucy and Max as they stood beside her, eyes wide with wonder. "Mom," Lucy whispered, her voice filled with awe. "Is this what love looks like?" "Yes, sweetheart," Sarah replied softly, her heart swelling with pride for her children. "This is love pushing through fear. It's powerful." The warmth of her words enveloped the twins, as if the magic of the moment fused their hearts, binding them as tightly as the rhythm of their song. But there was still a lingering uncertainty in Sarah's heart about her own path. As joyful as the reunion was, she couldn't shake the heaviness of her own news looming over her. The woman and her daughter finally pulled away from their embrace, love shining in their eyes, but exhaustion etched across their faces. The girl, now more radiant than fragile, turned to the crowd. "Thank you for bringing me back to her," she said, her voice strong yet soft. "I thought I lost hope. But you showed me, I can be with those I love again." Her words hung in the air, powerful and alive, and the community erupted in cheers. It was a symphony of vulnerability, woven through shared experiences, pain, and unwavering love. As the applause rumbled, an idea began to blossom in Sarah's heart. What if their connection could reach beyond just the moment? What if their song, this unique blend of love, could tie not only families together but heal hearts, even her own? Feeling a sense of urgency, Sarah turned to Lucy and Max. "We need to sing again," she declared, the fire igniting in her spirit. But this time, for everyone, every person who has ever felt alone, doubted, or lost. Yes. Lucy's eyes sparkled, her earlier fears replaced with anticipation. Max grinned widely, his little hands pumping with enthusiasm. "We can do this." With a deep breath, Sarah stepped forward, gathering her children close. It felt natural, reached from their love, their resilience, and that very spirit that connected everyone who had embraced the magic of connection. The crowd held their breaths once more, feeling the fresh energy surge through the air as Sarah struck a deep chord in her heart. As their voices began to blend once again, the melody transformed into a radiant anthem, one of unity, resilience, and the promise of hope beating like a heartbeat across the crowd. Each note spilled forth like sunlight breaking through a gray sky, nourishing weary souls still seeking refuge from their storms. The woman stepped back into the fold, her daughter joining her side, united by the power of their shared past and a new beginning. Sarah beamed at them, feeling the walls of fear start to crumble. With each verse, it was as if light pulsed through their voices, relaying the message, "You are never alone." The crowd answered with swaying bodies, clapping hands, and harmonious voices echoing through the night, washing over them like a warm embrace. In that surge of love and connection, Sarah exhaled the weight she had been carrying alone. It was as if each note of the melody released pieces of grief, joy, and everything in between, intertwining the hearts of the community around them. In the final crescendo, Sarah, Lucy, and Max looked out over the sea of faces, everyone connected by sincerity, love, and the willingness to heal. The haunting melody that had once pulled on Sarah's heart transformed into an inspiring call. Together, we are more than pain, we are strength. Together, we can face whatever comes next. As the last note settled, the applause grew thunderous. Tears of joy streamed down Sarah's cheeks as Lucy and Max wrapped their small arms around her waist. Pulling them close, she whispered, "You two were the light we needed. I'm so proud of you." In that moment, they were more than just a family. They were part of something bigger, an unbreakable bond radiating hope, healing, and love. Sarah felt a wave of peace wash over her, knowing that music had not only connected them with the audience but had become a bridge leading to the promise of tomorrow. And as the echoes of their triumphant song reverberated in the air, one undeniable truth settled in Sarah's heart: no matter what challenges lay ahead, their love was a force, one that would transform and guide them through even the darkest days. Now was the time to embrace whatever would come next, hand in hand, heart to heart. The world around them buzzed with life, and as Sarah looked into her children's eyes, she knew, the journey of healing was just beginning. And so, dear friends, the magic of connection continues. You need to subscribe now to experience more stories of hope, healing, and transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these beautiful tales alive. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. We want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share this powerful message of love. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.